Welcome, everyone. We are alive, and we are live right here. Now, you see that title, especially on YouTube. And I was upset yesterday because it hurts when I hear people say they're giving up. They don't think the law is real. Uh, they've been trying for years and nothing has changed. And so it not only did it hurt me to hear it, but it made me angry. As we say in Barbados, I was blue vex. Eh? Why was I angry? Because sometimes we are driven to make money, that we monetize every single facet of our lives. But in so doing, the simplicity of the principles gets lost. And because people are coming from quote unquote a desperate place, they can be easily taken advantage of. This is why I got angry. Because of listening and hearing people say, oh, the law isn't real. Mind you, the law does not need my defense. It doesn't, you know. But I want to clarify some things. I don't have to prove to you that the law works, because you already know that it does. And here's how you know that the principles and the law are real. Principles and law, interchangeable words. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender are very much real. For instance, an ostrich, when it lays an egg, what comes out? A baby ostrich. An emu, she lays an egg, what comes out? A baby emu. A chicken, when they lay an egg, what comes out? A chicken. An alligator. A duck just raised and she just hatched an alligator egg, and the alligator thinks that it is his mom. But an alligator came out of that egg amidst all the ducklings that she's got. Because she just saved the egg, you know? But because she saved the egg and hatched the egg, when you look at what the offspring were, they're ducklings and an alligator. So we can safely surmise that the alligator, well, was laid by an alligator. You see, every fruit after its own kind is law. Can you imagine if you went out to your garden and you planted corn and all of a sudden strawberries came out? You would probably poop your pants, because that's not the expectation. And you see, we take that expectation for granted and we simply say, bah, that's just nature. Nothing special about it. And that is not the case. You see, nature, if you observe her, because she's the embodiment, this is why it's, you know, she gives form. But the form came from somewhere. The form was at first invisible and became visible. Nature embodies. She shows you at all times what is contained within. So, when you get up in the morning, you and I will always show ourselves what we contain within. Always. As within, so without. As above, so below. That is the principle of correspondence. But you see how this is billed and marketed to people and called the law of attraction. Now, if you listen to the principles, vibration, don't worry, I had to modify my own thinking because the principles are very clear. And people get confused when you hear, well, you attract. No, you do not attract. Let's make it easier to grasp. The principle of correspondence says, as within, so without. So that means whatever you are inside is what you project outside. You're like a piece of corn, a kernel of corn. Well, then, wherever you plant yourself, you're only ever going to be corn. So when people hear, oh, you attract, they think they have to, what's the word, magnetize themselves. And they don't know how to do that. Because that is what is misleading. If you want to change your life, look at it. It has grown into something. What has it grown into? Is it a peaceful life? Is it a chaotic life? What does it look like? If you can see and describe what your present life looks like, then you know the seed by which you planted that it sprang forth from. At all times, it is emerging from you. It emerges from you. Life emerges from. So, if you want to change your life, well, what's the part that people always want to change? They always want more money. Okay? They always want a relationship. These are just the common things that people long for in their lives, and it's completely natural to have them. Money in the bank, a beautiful relationship, a lovely career, or a job, whatever that is. We want those things. Now, when you say, we never, when we say we want something, it's because we don't have it. That's natural, is it not? You don't have it, so naturally you want it. So how do you go from not having it to having it? First, you identify what it is you want to experience. If you say, well, I want more money in the bank, that's nice. But what would imply, what actions would you be doing? Because that's what we get up and we do, is it not? We get up and we act. But what we don't pay attention to is where we're acting from. This is the part that we miss. So you're watching all of these people showing you all the flash and pomp and ceremony. Oh, I got me a Bentley. Oh, I got me this. I got me that. I got the house on the hill. I just saw this one where she said, well, I said this for 30 days straight and landed me the best man ever. I am not saying that that's not possible. I'm not saying that she didn't do it. What I'm saying to you is don't let a dollar make you a fool. That's what I'm saying. When you allow somebody to entice you to such a degree that your quote unquote desperation is fueled, you blind your own eye because you're not understanding that if you have desperation within, you will be desperate on the outside. Well, good morning, handsome. You're such a sweet feller. You wake the world up. Oh, yes, indeed. So, what is it that you want from life? I want you to sit and ponder this. But if you say, Angela, I don't have time to ponder, if you don't have time, you better make time. This is the part we don't want to do. We want the result, but we don't want to do. Make time, which means you sit quietly and you ask yourself, what do I want to do? What do I want to become? These are not questions that draw an opinion from you. I don't want your opinion. I don't want your justifications of what you want to become. I don't want to hear, I can't do this because. That is not what that question is meant to do. And the reason why I'm saying this to you is because when I teach you the principles, I'm showing you that you are a self-sustaining unit. You do not have to pick up the phone and call George. Help me, George. You are self-sustaining. Do you know why you're self-sustaining? Because of the breath that fills your lungs. You have what it takes. But you have to know this. And the reason you have to know it is because you've got to get yourself from the position of hoping and wishing and longing. How do you get from that? You get from that by recognizing that if you go outside and you plant something, you don't hope for it to grow. You plant it because you know it grows. You see that surety of self right there? The outcome of planting is reaping, period. We don't hope. The outcome of planting is reaping. It always ends with reaping. You plant, you reap. You keep some seeds, you plant, you reap again. This is something that we know as cold, hard fact. You know that. Well, use the principle of correspondence. Let's use as above, so below. Below, if you plant, you reap, period. So above, what are you planting in your mind? Well, then you have to reap that because the outcome of planting is reaping. That's what you know. That's your confidence right there. You're knowing that if I plant this, I'm going to reap it. I won't necessarily be able to determine the bounty, how much there is, but I know the outcome of planting is reaping. I went outside. Listen, it's been raining so much, I can't even pick my Saskatoon berries. And the bush is heavy with them. I got to get out there and pick them. Right? So look at your life. It is a field. As far as the eye can see. What's growing in it? What are your experiences? And you see, we don't always have to figure out what the experiences are because there's going to be one that has your attention. That's where you start. The one that has your attention, the one that you say, oh God, why is this happening to me? Start there. Because it's the most obvious. Right? It's the most obvious. So now that you can hear yourself say, oh, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep making the same mistake? That is your cue. You're looking at your harvest. You're looking at what you're reaping. What are you reaping? Well, then those are the seeds that you've planted. Now, here's the thing. We like to figure things out, don't we? We like to dig to figure it out so we can have peace of mind. But digging brings more frustration because you unearth an effect. You know there's a cause, but you can't figure out what the cause was because it was so long ago. So do yourself a favor. You don't have to solve it. This is why the law is so beautiful. The law tells you if you plant, you reap. It doesn't say dig it up. So if you're looking at something and you can't figure out where it's coming from, well, that's your cue to say, I want to plant something different. The seeds that are our mental conversations, our mental mood, those are the seeds. For instance, oh man, I can't even do this. I always start and I never finish. Nobody wants to be my friend. I'm lonely in this world and I don't think I can go on. You see those things that we say to ourselves. Those are the seeds that we reap as experiences. Look at it and you will see. Sometimes we say, oh my God, it doesn't matter what I do. People always leave me. Because you're afraid of rejection. One, perhaps you were abandoned. Two, so thereby now you think everybody leaves because that is the predominant thing that you have always seen based from an initial experience. That was the first bag of seeds you ever had. So you don't have to go digging to find it. Just look at it. If people always leave your life, it's not because you're unworthy or unlovable, but it's because it's the seeds of rejection, the seeds of abandonment that have been tossed into your garden. And you'll never be able to dig up every one of them. But what you can do is plant the seeds of acceptance. Who accepts you? Better be the reflection looking back at you in the mirror. Why? As within, so without. If you accept yourself, well, how do you accept yourself? When you look at yourself, right? Whether you got a gap, whether you got 4C hair, or you got red hair and freckles, that's you. That's the package you come in. Yay, love it. That's just the package you come in order for us to see that you exist. Because if you did not have that package, nobody'd be able to see you. So that's just the package you're in. Accept the package that you came into the world in. That's just your package. You can make that package smell good. You can make that package pretty. You can gussy it up, but that is the package you come in. Accepted. That package that you come in is a combination of your mother and your father and a whole bunch of other people that came before you. That's just the package you're in. It is nothing to hate. It is nothing to be sad about. It is just the package. It's neither good, bad, nor indifferent. But if you don't accept the package and you judge it all the time, well, as within, so without. Now you open the door because you've planted the seeds of judgment. People will come along and they'll do exactly what you're doing because you're the one pushing it out into the world. It's your baby you're giving birth to over and over and over again. It is your harvest you're reaping. So, to accept one's self, you look in the mirror and you just This is what I am. What you are. Not who, what. Like a squirrel is a squirrel. You are you. A chicken is a chicken. You are you. It's just you. Now, what do you want it to become? What do you want your package to do in the world? What do you want to do in the world? Then you answer that question and you say, okay, that's what I want to become in the world. I want to mold and shape myself into this thing. You've got to get the image clear in your mind's eye. Because you are the architect of your life. You are the farmer of your life. You're the gardener of your life. But they all have one thing in common. They start with an image in their mind's eye. A baker, they may be triggered by the smell. So they conjure the image that matches the smell. A seamstress may be triggered or inspired by the feel of fabric in her fingers. She would say, "Ooh, velvet, velour, satin, all would feel amazing." And from that feeling, she will see an outfit emerge in her mind's eye. So you do the exact same thing every day. What is it that you feel that makes you have an image in your mind's eye? You must see something. Now, whether that thing is good, bad, or indifferent, you see it, you feel it, you do it. So then, you have to get something that feels good to you, that you're going to enjoy, something that is beautiful. Oh, Angela, I can't see anything beautiful. Well, then take your time till you see it. But Angela, I want to get over this depression. Ah, it is a mood, is it not? Because think about it. When you're depressed, what do you want to get up and do? Nothing. Because you're not in the mood. You are depressed, so you're not in the mood to do things. That the mood is always going to dictate how you behave. So what mood are you in? That is guaranteed how you'll behave in the world. So naturally, what do we do when we are in a foul mood? Got fouls in the house. The FOWLs, not the FOULs. But anyway, what's the first thing we do when we're feeling a particular way that we don't want to feel? Do you not get up and turn on your favorite song so that you can feel better? Maybe you go to the gym. But don't you realize that you do something? Do you know what you do? You automatically turn to something to make yourself feel better. But look at what it is first before you actually did it. You changed your mood. So today, stop looking outside of yourself for answers. Answers emerge from within. So if you're stuck, what does the law say? The law says that everything vibrates, nothing stands still. So therefore, I am not stuck. So if I'm not stuck, what would I be doing to prove to myself that I am not stuck? Well, look at what you think you're stuck with or stuck doing. I'm stuck doing the same thing every time. I feel like I'm in a rut. No, you're not in a rut, honey. You're just doing the same thing the same way every time. So how do you get out of the rut? Choose something different to do the same way every time. Why? Because of the outcome. The outcome is always going to be the same. You will always reap that which you have planted. So if you want to change your harvest, you have to change the seeds. You have to change the thoughts. You see, we run around and we want to say affirmations. We only ever affirm, darling. You and I only ever affirm. What do we affirm? That which we hold to be true. So if you say, nobody loves me, nobody cares about me, that is an affirmation because you believe it to be true. So you don't just run and pick up a list of affirmations and just spit them out all day. You have to know why you're doing it. You are doing it because you are changing the seeds that you hold within so that you can change the harvest you reap on the outside. Why? Because as long as it is in you, it must come out. That's why you do it. You don't just hear, I'm selling these affirmations, come buy them. No, understand why you do what you do. You do what you do because it is within you. That's why you do what you do. No secret, no magic. You just simply do what is within. Why? Because as within, so without. Just like the chicken, only lay and hatch chickens. So identify what is within you by looking at the present experiences you're dealing with. And know that it's there just because there's something on the inside that matches it, that you've projected out into the world. That is not something to make you feel bad about yourself. That is something to light you up, to show you that, holy macaroni, I can change. Gosh darn it, Batman, I can change. Yes, you can. But because you don't know, you see where it all rests upon? The principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental, which means you know. You will always know because you can't not know. We can't break the law. So if you're always in a position of knowing, which we always are, look at your life and you'll see it. Well, I know this. Well, I know what she's like. That's the first thing we say. Well, I know what to expect here. What do we say? I know. Eh. So recognize that we do what we know at all times. And if we don't know, we learn so that we can do what? Do what we know. So you've got to learn a new way. The new way is the principles. What would you be doing if you were changed? If you weren't so cantankerous and angry, what would you be doing? What would show you that you aren't the old, but that you're the new? Well then, get that image inside of your mind. Remember the dancer. And they're one, two, cha-cha-cha. All they do all day, every day, is practice their steps so that they will only get them right. So what are you practicing on a daily basis that you will do without flaw? If you practice telling yourself, well, I'm not good enough, well, you'll get that PhD in not good enough real quick. You see, the law works in such a fashion that it does not ask you to believe a single thing. It doesn't ask you to believe. It asks you to know. Step one, what do you want to become? I don't know why that trips people up so much. If you go to the hairdresser and she says, how you want me to cut it today? You sit in that chair and you do what? You explain to them, well, here's what I see. So you project the image of what you want your hair to look like into them. You mentally impregnate them with the image of what you want your hair to look like. This is why some of us get so angry when you leave and you go, well, she didn't do it what I wanted at all. Because the two things don't match, right? But she saw something other than what you were trying to project. So you see, it doesn't feel good to have the contradiction. So you sat in that chair and you said, I want it like this. I want it this color. Or you show her a picture of what you want. But do you see what you do when you go to the stylist or the barber? You show them a picture. Why? Because they recreate the picture. You see, we're living principle every day. Every day. And you know, this is why that picture on the front of your food exists. When you go and you buy something, it says serving suggestion. Image may not match. Because we have this idea that the image must match. It's not just an idea. It is law. Because you feel a particular way when you go and you get something, you go, well, that's not what I saw. We live this way every day. So this is why I'm saying to you, it always starts with the image on the inside. What do you see yourself as? Well, then that's the only thing that can come out of you. But Angela, you're not telling me how to change it. Yes, I am. You have to see yourself just like the dancer in the mirror. They don't watch somebody else dance. They dance and they watch themselves, which means you have to see inside of yourself what you want to become and you rehearse that every day. How do you rehearse it every day? It's what you're telling yourself. Every day. What are you telling yourself every day? I got the power. Or what are you telling yourself? Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? What are you telling yourself? So, you want to change? Start telling yourself what you want to change into. For instance, you can pretend, this is why stories are important. You can pretend you are the barber and you say what kind of cut you want, what kind of color you want. You want to trim, you want those edges laid, or how you want that beard to look. Well, the image that you're creating is your life. How do you want it to look? You got to get a picture. Now, when you get the picture, you realize what happens. You will know how to act because the picture will draw out of you what actions you need to take. You don't have to figure out what to do. Just get the image right and you will be compelled to act accordingly. I had 2 people suggest a career for me on Saturday. 2. Absolute strangers. I do the same thing the same way every time. But they saw 2 different things. A man came in and he said, I need to buy a wine, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to get. I've never done this before. And I said, well, what are you eating? He goes, because I said to him, because you're going to pair it with something. So what are you eating? I said, are you having beef or are you having chicken? He goes, no, we're having fish. I said, oh. I said, well, that narrows it down. You want a white wine. I said, is the fish spicy? He says, why, of course. I said, okay, so you want a Riesling. Why a Riesling? Because that's what he asked me. Why? I said, because it's light, it does not overpower the fish, but it accentuates every single spice that you put on the fish to make the palate just dance and appreciate what you've just made. He goes, my God, when you say it like that. He goes, and he says, well, you should be a wine taster because you just have this way of explaining what the wine does. And the other person, I explained something to her. And she said, have you ever thought about becoming a therapist? You just have this way of making people see things differently. And I'm like, man, I don't know. What I'm trying to tell you with those two stories is this. It's always going to come down to, what are you seeing? You will always recreate that which you see. So you must see yourself in a different light. And at first, it feels kind of funny. I knew nothing about wine, nothing at all. I still don't know anything about wine. Not the way I see other people, but I have something different though. I just love what I do. Because you see, you can tell the difference between those who imbibe for an experience and those who imbibe for a different type of experience. You get the young people coming in. This is why they're designed the way they are. You know, the black flies, and they are all designed the way they are to appeal to the one who's looking at them. You see, it is always an image. So I'm showing you every day of our lives, we are bombarded with images. But the only image that matters is the one that you paint of yourself. And the way you paint that image is based upon every stroke of your brush. With your words, your tongue is the brush. But even if you were mute and you could not speak, you still have a brush within your mind's eye because it is the way you think of yourself. Change there. You notice how it doesn't matter somebody else's opinion. But what if he treated me as if I were an expert, like I was a professional? Child, I'm no professional at this. I just know. He says, it's my in-laws are coming for dinner. I said, ooh, okay. Well, let's get you a really nice one. He goes, well, some of them don't drink. And I said, well, I have something non-alcoholic that gives everybody the impression that they're all together. He told me what he wanted. He painted a picture for me. And I said, well, make sure and come back and tell me all about it. This is how we live every day. By way of those principles, what picture are you masterfully creating? Good, bad, or indifferent, you are drawing the picture of your life. And you're drawing it by what you tell yourself every day. I can't. I don't have any connections. I don't know anybody, but my channel isn't growing fast enough. I'm not as popular as these people. You see, this is why we get lost sometimes by trying to match an algorithm. The algorithm is matching you. The algorithm is matching you. Some people would beg to differ and they'd say, but no, Angela, you have to have a certain niche, or niche, as some people would say. You got to go with what people want to hear. Do I? Do I? I might sprinkle a little bit of controversy. That's why I named it what I named it this morning with the gurus and got out here in these streets, got people crashing out. Talking about they don't want to live anymore. They want they can't handle it anymore. I'm like, stop, stop, stop. It's okay. It's all right. Because you're trying to match somebody else. That's why you're frustrated. But I'm 40, Angela. My life should be way ahead. According to who? See, this is why you're struggling. Because you're looking at Tom, Dick, Mary Jane, George, and Harry and want to paint your life to match theirs. Remember Guy Smiley on Sesame Street? He said, "This is your, whose life? Yours. You have to paint it." You're the artist in this situation. You're the farmer. You're the sculptor. Either way you look at it, all of them are the ones making the images. So don't worry about, let's do it the way I know you like. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is going to be all right. Right? That's what you do. Why? Why is it going to be all right? Because the outcome of planting is reaping. That's why it's all right. And you get to decide what you want to reap. That's why everything is all right. That's why things are always working out for me. You see that affirmation? Things are always working out for me. And you say it and you don't even believe it. But if you understood why they were always working out, you'd change your tune. Why are they working out? Because the outcome of planting is reaping. So I will plant because it is inevitable that I reap. So that's why things are always working out for you. Not because you heard some guru say it. Ah, somebody asked me, "Angela, why don't you just imagine your life easier? Why you gotta work so much?" Did it ever occur to you that I am doing what I actually love doing? I don't like the hours. But once I get there, oh my God, I have a good time every time. A good time every time. I answer phones. I get to hear people tell me, "It's been months and nothing's been done on my roof." Well, it has been raining too, and all those months you're talking about have been winter, sir. But I still love it because it's the people. Every single time. One thing, it's just the people. I record an audiobook. It's just the people. I know that somebody will smile from the depths of their being because they heard me say something a particular way in an audiobook. I love who I am. Yeah, I'm 4'11". I'm pocket size. I'm all right with that. I'm pocket size. I'm bite size. Yeah, hey, accept who and what you are. Because you can mold and shape yourself into anything beautiful, my friends. Because there's only anything that's beautiful anyway. You may have heard otherwise, but that's hearsay. Ow. That was hearsay. See, you're willing to reject my hearsay of that there is only beauty, but you're willing to accept that there's crap? Okay. So what's the problem? What you're willing to accept? Well, two people are saying something, and you're going to accept the one that you want to accept. And I'm saying to you, there is only beauty. And you say, "Girl, you're crazy." And somebody says, "Well, look at the state of the world. There's only evil in the world." And you say, "I know, right?" Well, as within, so without. We do love a good fight, don't we? We're like gladiators. Some of us are so bloodthirsty. And we wonder why there's so much violence. Because we like to be entertained, my beautiful friends. But you see, what entertained us last week won't entertain us this week because we want more. You see what we do? So today, my beautiful friends, before we go, and I should because I'm late, but it's all right. I got my lunch all packed and ready to go. I got my outfit picked out for work. I'm ready because I planned. Why'd I plan? Because I know I talk a lot. So I do the things that get me ready in the morning at night. So I'm prepared. Anywho, as Granddaddy used to say, taste your words before you speak. What are you saying to yourself? You know when something tastes good, you let it sit in your mouth and you say, that tastes so good. Like the commercial for the Arrow. You just let the bubbles pop on your tongue. Oh yeah, that's an experience, isn't it? Ow. But what if what you put on your tongue is, yeah, right? It doesn't taste good. So don't say it to yourself. Why not to say it to yourself? Why should you not say unsavory things to yourself? Because they are seeds. And if you plant, you will reap. Not maybe you'll reap. There's no maybe. You plant, you'll reap. There's no maybe about it. Flo smiles. Your hair never looks like the picture. Oh, Lord. Yes. And here's the thing. I'm reading your stuff in the chat there, Reacher. Whatever entertains you trains you. Whatever you tune into, you turn into. Whatever you do frequently becomes your frequency. Why? And you say it so eloquently. But why? Because as within, so without. That's why. That is why. They are all seeds. And when you plant them, they emerge from you. And that is what your life will be. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You plant, you reap. Beliefs are always subject to change based on new information or the release of old ideas and concepts. Yes, as within, so without. So if you want to change something, learn. And you get what you learn within yourself. But the key to learning is not just to learn to absorb. It is learn so you can apply. You ever had your preacher tell you that they feed you the word and you just become chubby with the word? You're just taking in the word. Yeah, that's because you're taking in the word, but you're not applying. But that's because you're not always taught how to apply. So I'm telling you how to apply it. Your mood is the seed. And it will always have corresponding experiences. There are a myriad of experiences that will match that mood. Why? Because every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. So, what are you saying to yourself? That is the root, because it's the seed that was planted. And you don't have to gouge it out, you know. No, you just got to plant. You just got to plant something else and keep planting that. By how? By reminding yourself that of the image of what you want to become. This is why people have vision boards. So they can be reminded of who they say they are molding and shaping themselves into. Well, that's the real reason why they have it. Because that's actually what's happening when you put up a vision board. You walk by it and you see it every day. You are reminding yourself, hey, what's that inner conversation? That inner conversation is not leading you here to match these pictures. That inner conversation is leading you in the other direction. So then the vision board reminds you to check your inner conversation. It's not something you put on your wall because, ooh, I want that in my life. Ooh, I want that. No, that's not what a vision board is. It is a reminder to you to get your inner conversations right, to match what's on the board. As within, so without. Anyway, look, let me go because, I know I said a lot. According to YouTube, 50 minutes of a lot. And I trust. I told somebody yesterday, it does not matter what your present situation is. Not because your present situation is irrelevant. No, because situations must bend to law. So if you find yourself in whatever your situation is, the same principle applies. There's something within that you keep saying to yourself over and over every single day, and it's become your habitual thing to say. Well, then you will habitually get the same harvest. See, that's my cue. That's what he's telling me. He goes, we gotta go, mama. So it doesn't matter the situation. What are you saying to yourself every day? That's what the situation is. The experience is just the evidence of your inner conversation. Oh, shoot. Flo smiles. Let me say it again. Your present experience is just the reflection of your inner conversation. Change the inner conversation. The external experience must change. Not maybe it will change. It must. Because you have to reap what you sow. Okay. Anywho, my failer is crowing and saying I gotta go. So, you know where to find me? Whew. I just took my bonnet off. Because I'm ready. Anywho, we're here on YouTube, Facebook, and who? What now? TikTok. Hello. We are streaming live to TikTok, honey. Ow. And we are on Twitter this morning. Beloved Love Troll. I remembered you yesterday amidst all my chores. I remembered you. Don't you fret. It's symmetric. I see you. Hey, girl. I see you here in the Twitter sphere. I do. Fan base. We already know Lil Bit's kicking it with us. KZ, my sweet, is here. Flo smiles. Michael is here. Ray Ray. Oracle Treehouse. Miss McQueen. Miss McQueen, let me tell you something. Reacher, I see you. Maggie, I see you. Hey, girl. Miss Deborah, I see you. Thanks for being here. Miss McQueen, let me tell you something. A little bit's been hanging out in the room with Lady. And, Chicoletta, she looks like a little biscuit, so that's what we're going to call her. She looks like a little biscuit. But anyway, he is in there with them, and they were all hanging out just fine. Until I hear Biscuit squeaking, and I'm like, what is going on? I go in the room, and Lil Bit turns and looks at me. Do you know where he is? He's got Lady pinned in the corner. You know what? I said, And Biscuit, he's under his mom, so her mom, and he's squeaking like, you got, and I was like, no. So I picked up a little bit. I said, okay. You got to give us some time. I said, there will be plenty of time for that, sir. But my fella is trying. Flo smiles. Flo smiles put up. My girl put up the eggplant emoji. I can't with you. Jesus help me. This is, listen. So, but that fella is something else. He lights up my life, let me tell you. So get it, Chick is right. Just give them time, and he'll figure out what to do, even with that leg. I know he will. He will. The desire within is what drives us to act, my friends. Remember that. The desire within, which is the mood, is what drives us to act. So you don't have to figure out what action to take. It unfolds for you. Anywho, thank you all for spending this time with me while I prattled on. But from all of my prattling, I sure trust, I know, that if you apply what you heard, you will change your life. And you'll be all up in my DMs talking about, oh my God, Angela. And I'll be like, I already knew this was how it was going to turn out. There are no surprises, but I'll celebrate with you anyhow. All right. Anywho, countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3. You tell your nephews I say hello, y'alls. 2, 1. Listen, I love you. And I will see you on the morrow. Where are we going to be? At 5? No, wait, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? Because it's 5 a.m. for me. But 7 a.m. for y'all. We'll be right here on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, fan base. Ow. That's where we'll be. And so when you go through your day to day, look for the coincidence. Why? Because if you catch yourself saying, what a coincidence, do you know what you just experienced? The principle of correspondence. What was inside your mind matched the experience on the outside. See? This is how you know. This is how you know that the law is always at work, y'all. Just look for it and you'll see it. Anywho, I love you, and I'ma go and get to work because I know there are a lot of claims from all of that rain. Listen, let me tell you, we had a thunderstorm up in here on what, Friday night? Ooh, I have never heard thunder do what it did. The thunder was like the waves in the ocean. It ebbed and flowed, but it never stopped for at least an hour. It was just constant thunder for 1 hour. It did not stop. So it that was thunder all Friday night. And the rain and the lightning, it was like God was on holidays and he was like, ooh, selfie, 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 selfie. It was just lightning after lightning after lightning for 1 hour straight. Oh, it was fascinating. So I know there's going to be a lot of claims today. So I'm going to go get ready and get to work and see how many claims we have. Because I know it's madness today. Anywho, cause and effect, right? But I digress. I love you. And I'll see you tomorrow if you want to hang out with us again. Right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, fan base. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Much love to each and every one of you. Mwah.